Hello, everyone. Sarah with Pacaro.com. Today, we're going to talk about something that impacts and influences every single one of us, and that's what our parents say to us. Now, I came from a normal childhood, normal upbringing. Parents were married. They met in college. They were both college graduates. They met. My brother and I. I was first. He was second. So I was the oldest, 18 months apart. Grew up normal household. They both work full-time jobs, and my brother and I were loved, motivated, encouraged, supported. We had everything we needed, and we were a normal family. My parents split up and got divorced when I was in fifth or sixth grade, but my dad was always around. We saw him every Thursday and every other weekend. They came to, the sports things, and we just had a normal childhood, a normal upbringing. And it wasn't until I realized that my mom said something to me in an effort to comfort me in a time of discomfort. And it was after me complaining about the situation that I was in when the second narcissistic relationship was deteriorating, was dissolving, was ending. And this is the impact of this, why we often don't realize it, but we're so deeply moved by it. We're so deeply hurt by things that are supposed to be helpful. And it's a connection to relationship. Everything is connection to relationship. So I had this relationship to my mother, who several years after getting divorced from my father had met someone at church and got married. They've been married for 25 years now. And it was in this caring, in this loving way that she told me this phrase. And because I had done so much deep internal work on myself, and I had gotten myself out of the deep dark hole yet again, and realized I was the common denominator in the past toxic, emotionally unavailable, emotionally abusive relationships, and set out on my lifelong journey. I fully committed to figuring this out for myself, however long it took. I remember the initial investment I made in my training to become a therapist. I thought, I don't care what this costs. I don't care how long it takes. This is my calling, and I feel like it is. And even if it's not something that can be used to help anyone else, if I can just use this to help myself, that will be life changing. And but still was impacted by the things that the narcissist was doing and saying, and the processing of my own internal transformation and unconscious beliefs. And that was formed, shaped, and created in who I thought I should be for other people. And so often we are so unaware of the impact and the influence on that because it's so internal, it's so deeply ingrained internally, unconsciously. And we can say things like, I don't care what you think about me, but the truth is we do. And so we're disconnected from our truth when we're saying we don't care, but we really do. But the reason why we're saying that is because we don't want to be hurt by it. And talking to my mother about this situation, and I remember our departing. I was leaving her house, and I was just saying, "Oh my gosh, how I how I deeply desired to be loved the way that I desired to be loved in that emotionally abusive and unavailable relationship, and how that desire to be loved in that way never went away. And the realization that I had to love myself in that way so that I could be with another person and experience receiving love from them in that same way. It had to be an energetic match. It had to be consistent, vibrationally, energetically, emotionally, that it wasn't that I was coming from an empty love cup and asking them to pour all their love into me so that I could feel lovable. I had to love myself enough, and just really trying to just talk about my understanding, my knowledge, my transformation, my healing to someone who has just had different experiences in their own life with that. And A lot of people do this. A lot of people seek advice. And I wasn't seeking advice in that moment, but something was said that was received as advice. And unsolicited advice can be very triggering, but it often can be very revealing and therefore very healing because that's what triggers do. They activate us, they agitate us, they influence us because in that moment, post trigger, we have the ability to decide if we're going to react or respond. And I was able to sit with this, and a deeper understanding and connection was made through the words and the phrases that my mom said. And as we're departing, as we're saying our goodbyes, we had just finished the completion of a conversation around, the reason why I stayed, what it was like to stay for as long as I did, and to the process of uncoupling, the process of getting out of such a toxic, abusive relationship, and the gratitude I had for that, and the place that I was at now, the deep level of internal healing that I've done through the transformation of my own unconscious beliefs and connection to the core and the root of what caused me to believe the things I did, say the things I said, make the excuses that I made, and to be free and done from that, but be in this space now. What's it going to be like, right? If I get into another relationship, because is this pattern going to continue? Am I finally going to experience that it's completely broken because I'm able to love myself the way that I desire for someone else to love me now, and actually feeling this place of contentment with this love and this relationship and this life that I've built and I've created now after getting out of that, but still having the desire to get into a loving relationship, the same desire I had when I got into the relationship with the last narcissist. And her words of comfort, her words of wisdom, and her words of advice were nice. They were intended to be nice, but they were, Sarah, don't worry. You'll find yourself a nice guy one day, and everything is going to work out. Nice, right? But the energy, the indication, the belief was, if you don't, then things won't. I know it feels like it's not okay now because you're not in a relationship now, but things will be okay when you find yourself in a relationship. It was like a fireworks show going off in my mind. Oh my God, that is why I got into and stayed in relationships that were so bad for me, so wrong for me, was this belief that I'm not enough if I'm not in a relationship, that me, myself, and I, here I am, take me as I am, was not enough as I am, was not enough without the attachment and the label of in a relationship, married, taken, whatever, even if the relationship status and title was it's complicated. That didn't matter. No relationship is perfect. They're all complicated. Yes, but this belief that I was not enough as I am if I wasn't in a relationship because of the expression of the desire to be in a healthy relationship, and the projection and the stories of experiences with her relationship, things that weren't perfect. And, well, no relationship is, and every relationship, just trust me. I mean, there's not a perfect one. So I stayed in horrible ones because it's a belief that there's no perfect relationship and that I'm not enough if I'm not in a relationship. And it was simple, it was easy, and it wasn't intended to be hurtful or malicious in any way. But that's the way it goes. We hear things from people that we love and we know who love us. And when we have a deeply rooted unconscious belief about us and someone says something to us, it connects, it gets into alignment. And it led me into, okay, well, I need to put myself out there. I need to date, even though at that point in time, I wasn't ready. And I really wasn't looking to get into another relationship, but I was looking to get into a relationship because other people would view me a certain way, see me a certain way, because then maybe we'd get engaged and married and then have this big ring on my finger. And then I'd stop experiencing being so jealous for every other woman who I saw who had a big rock on their finger. And it was this understanding that even, nice words or kind words or words of support can be words of detriment when you have an unconscious belief about yourself. And I thank God literally that connection was made, because there was this understanding that you don't believe in me because you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe that I'm okay, because if you were in that situation, you wouldn't believe that you were okay, that there was another way, that it had to go a certain way or look a certain way to other people so that you could feel good about how it looked to you. And that's so often what happens. We go to people and we open up and we share and we tell our stories, and something is shared in the exchange of conversation or even in the exchange of energy of like, I don't know how to help you because I wouldn't be okay if that were me. If I were in your shoes, I wouldn't be okay. I'd be falling apart. I wouldn't know what I could do, and I would try to get out of it as quickly as possible. I would jump into something else even if it weren't right for me, because I don't believe that being in that situation would be okay with me. I think I would just completely lose it. And that's often what happens, and we don't know it because what we believe internally and unconsciously isn't conscious, it isn't present, it isn't visible, it isn't like something we can see, but it is something we believe. And therefore, it's something that we experience. We experience it through our emotion, our feelings, and those are expressed. And oftentimes we're like, I don't know why. I don't know why I'm so anxious about this experience or this present state of my life right now, because I look around and I see other people are in the same situation and they're fine, or they're actually grateful for it and they're joyful for it, but I'm in deep remorse and deep sadness and sorrow and anger because I'm in this state and I desire to be in a different state. And so we will try to take it into our own hands and fix it and change it, and then we'll end up getting on the wrong path simply because someone had us feel like we're not on the right path, and we believed that we had to be on a different path or in a different situation or have the different title or status so that we could be enough as we are. And that's really what it comes down to, is other people sharing their experiences. And then when they connect with negative, limiting, detrimental, unconscious beliefs that we already have about ourselves, then it causes pain. And the first initial reaction to experiencing pain is to get out of it and move towards something that feels better. And at that time, would have felt better would to have been in this perfect relationship. Look at this. I deserve this incredible person. Our relationship is so good. And that's what happened when the first narcissistic marriage ended and I jumped right into another one. It was like, I'm fine. It's like, I'm totally fine that didn't work out. Look, I have an even better relationship, when in fact it was a worse relationship. But I was so afraid to say that because of this belief that I wasn't enough as I am if I didn't have the title of being in a relationship, even though it was horrible, even though it was the worst relationship. I often say I wouldn't wish that relationship on that person I was in a relationship with. It was that bad. And this feel of I'm not enough and you see me as a complete failure and what's wrong with me. And those were deeply rooted unconscious beliefs I had about myself, that even though that wasn't what was said, it was spoken. And there's a difference between what's said and what's spoken. And the most crucial, vital thing that we can do is connect unconsciously with what's being spoken to us about us, with what we believe about us based upon other people's views, energetics, perceptions, and be fully, wholly, completely okay with who we are, and have our identity be deeply rooted in trust in who we are, belief in who we are, and not try to jump out of that before we're really meant to. And I love working with people. I love, love, love it. It's my heart, it's my soul, it's my passion to transform the internal and unconscious beliefs we have about ourselves. When you've gone through experiences like that, and you've had conversations like that deeply impacted you, that were meant for good, but were experienced in bad and transforming all of that. So understand that it's not always these giant big T traumas that you experience. That's part of it, but it's often the things that you thought and hoped would help you, those words of advice and comfort in the form of conversation that someone else was trying to give you because they love you and they want to be in support of you, they can actually be a part of holding you back from feeling supported, from feeling good about where you are in life. So if if you're ready to connect and you're ready to go on a powerful, deep breakthrough transformational journey, I'd love to connect with you. You can find out more at sarahpacaro.com. All right, guys, I love you. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.